In this episode we're going to be building the first of the 4 themed areas, which is the Aztec Zone. Hello everybody, I'm Pixolian and welcome back to the Crystal Maze theme park here in Planet Coaster. Now in the last episode, if you missed it, we built the Crystal Dome, as you can see on the screen. And that had a Schwarzkopf roller coaster inside of it in the middle. So yeah, if you missed the last episode, be sure to check it out because that's what we built in that episode. But in this episode, we're going to be building the first of the 4 themed areas, which is the Aztec Zone. So if you don't know much about the Crystal Maze or didn't see the last episode, we're basing this off the Crystal Maze show, which is a British show, and there's 4 different themed areas you go to, which is the Aztec Zone, the Futuristic Zone, the Medieval Zone, and the Industrial Zone. And this is the first one of the 4. In the actual show, the Crystal Dome doesn't have much theming at all, which is why there's not much inside or out around it in terms of like theming. But we've tried to make it look as nice as we can. But so yeah, in this episode we're making the Aztec Zone, which you can see us build right now. So we're starting off with the big entrance for it. I messed around with some of the effects on there. As you can see, we've got like a snapping wood beam, and then sort of mess around with the design of the Aztec pillars. These themed areas aren't going to look like one-to-one recreations to the show. It's just based off. I mean, it's not going to be real, is it? Because it's got a roller coaster in it, but it's just sort of based off using the themes. So yeah, in this Aztec Zone, we're going with the first coaster, which, as you can see, I'm building right now. It's mainly did it because it's the new coaster model in Planet Coaster. It's like the F25, it's called, and it's basically a launched B&M coaster, or B&M launch coaster, wrong way around. It's a lot like the Hulk at Universal Orlando, and I'm keeping it with the Aztec theme with the original colour scheme. As you see, it's sort of like goldy orange, and it's kind of inspired by Hulk, as you can see, with the launch and the exit, and like the exit out of the launch, how it goes up into that zero-G roll and then background. It's quite a different sort of layout from normal B&M coasters. In the end, I mean, it's quite starts off quite similar to like the Hulk, but yeah, it gets a bit weird, this ride. But yeah, I've also featured other elements from other B&M coasters, which is sort of inspired, which you'll be able to see later on in the video while I'm building this coaster. So yeah, also we start off with that zero-G roll after the launch. It's a drive tyre launch. If you don't know much about this B&M launch coaster particularly, it's the only B&M launch coaster of this type is the Hulk at not Busch Gardens. What am I on about? What's it called? Universal, not Busch Gardens. Where did I get that from? But the other launch coaster B&M were done is Thunderbird at Holiday. It's either Holiday Park or Holiday World, and one of them's in Germany. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Holiday World in America, but that's got a B&M launched wing coaster, which looks really cool. I think it's Holiday World, yeah, Holiday Park's Germany, yeah. And that uses a LSM launch instead of the drive tyre launches, which this has and what the Hulk has. So it's sort of one of each. There's one B&M launch coaster that uses LSMs, which is Thunderbird, and then there's one that uses drive tyre launches, which is the Hulk. So this layout around this part does kind of change quite a bit. So after the loop, I didn't know what to re-put on it to make it sort of look good and make the layout good. I wanted it also to fit in well with the entrance, as it's going over the entrance. I wanted it to fit well with that. So yeah, so in the end I went with just a turn, quite a steep turn, as you can see, and I also changed the length of the train to make it a standard B&M train length, which I think which ends up pretty good. So I'll let you enjoy watching the footage of me building the roller coaster, and I'll be back when there's something for me to talk about. So at this point I begin building of the interlocking corkscrews, which is a feature that a lot of B&M flawless and sit-down coasters have. Most sort of like iconic one is Coomba at Busch Gardens, Tampa. That's probably why I said Busch Gardens earlier, because I was thinking of this ride. But yeah, interlocking corkscrews, they're a right pain to build. I had to consult Google quite often to find out what it looks like, and that's actually what I think I'm doing now while it's paused. But yeah, they're a right pain to build. I eventually get it, but yeah, that's what I'm building now. Because you got to sort of go do one corkscrew, go into a turnaround, and then come back into another one, and it's sort of the positioning of him that sort of fits. I do get it at the end, and it does look really cool at the end, so I'm happy about that. But yes, I do consult Google quite often, as you can see. So yeah, there we go. As you can see, I've just about made the interlocking corkscrews, and I think they look pretty cool like that. It does look quite cool. They're a nice looking element of B&M coasters, especially when they're sort of done by B&M. I think actually B&M are the only manufacturer that do them. I can't think of any other rides made by another manufacturer who does. But yeah, as you can see at this point, the train did not make it up there, and then it made it really slowly after I lowered the height. So to fix this problem, mainly, is just to simply lower the station height, because I made the station way too big. So as you see, I spent quite a little while messing around with this part. And I lower the station down, lower all this bit down. I ended up having to put some standard drive tyres just at the bottom to actually push it up to the launch. Yeah, now I make the brake run. Obviously, we've got to have quite a lot of block sections to get enough trains to get those throughputs. Got to have good operations. So yeah, I think we end up having 3 trains on this coaster. I tried 4, but it just didn't work really. I mean, it did work, but it had to wait at station for ages, and if it waits on the brake one for too long, it starts just destroying the ratings of the game. And obviously, if a coaster's got bad ratings, no one's going to ride it. So you got to sort of keep it realistic, but also works with the game, sort of thing. And then actually connecting it to the brake one was a right pain, because the smoothing tools on Planet Coaster just kept sort of making it bank outwards, which wasn't helpful. But yeah, eventually I do get a nice little layout, and I am proud of how this coaster sort of ended up, because I think with a bit of theming on later on and a bit of scenery and landscaping, this could look really cool. This could be a really cool looking coaster. So yeah, very happy with how the actual layout turned out. So now I'm just watching it go round. I'm mainly messing around with the block sections at this point to obviously test the amount of trains on there. So now I'm testing 4, as you can see, and it all works fine. But it just sort of means the trains are waiting on the brake one for ages, as you can see, and that just destroys the operations. Not the operations, that just destroys the ratings, sorry, which isn't great. But yeah, that's the coaster done. Now we're moving on to the actual theming and sort of entrance of the Aztec area. So we're entering it with a line of shops, a path full of shops. Now this may just sort of it may look at the minute just kind of boring, but it does get really good, and I'm very proud of how this turned out. The theming is very cool, and I also mix it with a little sort of like studio lights, so it's kind of like how Crystal Maze is in real life. Obviously got all the lights at the top, and then we also put in, you won't be able to hear it, but we put in music, Aztec music. Maybe once we finish the Aztec area, I can do a walk around with the actual sounds in or something. But yeah, it does look pretty cool. So I messed around with a load of these little temple sort of scenery items or building items that came from the Adventure Pack DLC, which Frontier released. And yeah, it's a really cool DLC pack actually. It's probably one of my favourites. That and maybe the spooky one. The spooky one's really cool as well. But yeah, I love the Adventure Pack, the amount of different sort of themes you can come up with. And so now I'm just putting in shops that I thought kind of fit with the Aztec theme. So there's like Dune Delights, because that's all sandy, isn't it? It's about sort of like kind of like Persian sort of thing. And then I've got like ice cream, so it's going to be hot, so you need something to cool down. It's got like drinks, obviously toilets and information is very important as well. You know, got to sell those fast tracks for the coaster, obviously. But yeah, I'm just sort of messing around with the temple-looking walls for the shops. Now, something that's really annoying about this pack with the buildings is there's no actual roof pieces for them, which I don't know why. So the closest you've got are these things, which are just sort of, they don't attach to the grid at all. So you've got to sort of just position it like I've been doing there with the advanced tool. And if anyone knows any sort of other ways of doing it, which I missed, please let me know. But as far as I could tell and look through the adventure pack, there's no sort of actual roof pieces, which is kind of weird, because you've got this whole sort of wall piece, but then you don't even have any flat roofs. let alone like the slopey ones. There's no flat ones, so like I don't know, it's a bit weird. I managed to make it work anyway, so it's all good. So now we're putting some signs up because you've got to let them know what shop's what. And yeah, the signs may not fit with the theme, but I do something around the signs later which does sort of make them fit the theme, and they're not the most in-your-face signs ever. Like there's a much bigger ones you could put. There's like the massive neon ones for like the hot dog squad and stuff like that, and the cosmic cow milkshakes and all of that. So I sort of went with a smallest, no neon, because neon would not fit at all in an Aztec area, would it? But yeah, I put these pillars around them to sort of make it look a bit better. And don't worry, that goal pin, when it does get moved forward, it does get moved forward, so don't worry, the sign. But yeah, mainly I do sort of very symmetrical sort of stuff. There you go, moving the signs out to make sure they're the same on each side. So now it's just detailing these buildings, because they look a bit plain as they are. So I put these cool like sort of gold trims around them, which look quite cool. And then it looks even better once we get some trees in, some bushes, and also some lighting as well. That's when it really looks cool. So see, I'm putting some more of this sort of stuff down. And I tried putting it there, but it doesn't work with the way I made the walls. I'm sort of messed them up a little bit, so I don't think I end up doing this. But yeah, so some cool sort of gold pieces. So now it's time to put lighting on. Now I love doing lighting in this game, because you get a mix. It looks better with it when it's dark and got lighting around it. You can make all themed lighting, like those sort of torches. But also with the spotlights, which I do in a bit. I make some cool sort of like spotlight sort of ambience, I guess, sort of thing on the path. But you'll see that in a minute. I won't spoil it. Well, I've just done. But yeah, now putting sort of like bamboo bushes around, because that's very Aztec-y. And yeah, I think that's quite cool, because it means as you walk through, you don't sort of see as much with those sort of bamboo bits hanging down. Now, these trees are quite random. But I wanted sort of you to feel when you're down on that path looking up, you can see trees. It's like you're surrounded in this Aztec area. I don't want you to see the sort of just the blank areas around it. Now this is something quite cool I came up with. They have these bridges these rope bridges in the Aztec pack, in the adventure pack, and I sort of had them hanging down with these vines coming off them, and I think it looks really good. I'm very happy with how that turned out. But yeah, just sort of moving these vines around to make it sort of like hang down. Which is quite cool. But yeah, just doing it for both bridges, and yeah, so now obviously putting the music down, you won't be able to hear this, but if you have the game or want to just sort of Google it, the song track, as you can see there, is Aztec Odyssey, so just sort of Google that. Maybe it might come up on YouTube, I'm not sure. And maybe if copyright's alright, I might be able to edit that sort of song in the background, but I'm not sure if it's copyright or not. I'll have to sort of look into it before I upload it, because I don't want to upload it and it'll be copy striked, you know, it's not fun, is it? So yeah, I'm putting all the speakers at the top, because I don't want, you know, if you're in an Aztec area, you're not going to want these speakers all just placed on the walls. You want it on the top, and then you can sort of like hear it from above, which is quite cool. So now I'm doing the spotlights, which is quite cool. I make the floor look quite cool with different colours, mainly blue and green I go with, I think, in the end. And it looks just kind of interesting. Instead of it being just loads of yellow and gold, it's like got this sort of variant on the floor. Now this spotlight was a right pain to pick up. As you can see, I'm struggling quite a lot picking that one up. I still don't think I actually ended up getting it. I have to go get that other one instead. But yeah, I just still do the same on the other side, just to make it brighter and better and symmetrical, otherwise I'll get OCD about it. So now it's time to move away from that little entrance sort of area, which I love. I'm very happy with how that came out, and start making some flat rides. So I originally thought this was a family ride, but then I saw the fact that the planes went upside down and got rid of it and changed it with something else. So I was looking for flat rides that could fit, but I wanted something that was family. I mean, we've got this massive coaster, and I want sort of a few flat rides, so I want a family one to start off with. So yeah, so I went with this sort of twisty one, this not twisty, sort of spinny sort of ride, and then went for a queue. Didn't want to make a normal cattle pen. That's my original idea, was go for a cattle pen, but I thought we don't want to do a Six Flags park here. We want to do a nice themed park, and not to say Six Flags is the only themed park that does it. That does cattle pens, but you know, want it to be interesting queues. So now I'm testing the ride. There will be a normal speed POV at the end of this video, so don't worry. So I know that's very fun to watch them on ride. And now I seem to have paused the game. Oh, I'm back again. Okay, so now it's doing the theming for the queue line of this flat ride, and yeah, so it's small, sort of the same sort of Aztec themes with the adventure pack, making the sort of entrance arch here. I wanted to go with quite a unique design, not just like a tunnel, not just that be it. And obviously we need room up there for a sign for the ride, which we'll do later on. But yeah, that's the little sort of entrance to the ride. and now we sort of put loads of different Aztec themes. So I went with making this massive Aztec-looking statue thing. There's loads of different like parts you can add to him, like different arms, different legs, and yeah, I do come up with something quite interesting in a minute. This sort of big Aztec-looking thing. Yeah, it's just sort of a lot of mess around with the different features they have. So the arms are quite weird, to be honest. The arms are not really that easy to use. So in the end, I went with the wings, which I thought looked quite cool, like a massive sort of like Aztec bird thing, maybe. And maybe we could call this ride something to do with a bird, but I'm not sure it really fits with that, with the kind of ride that it is. But yeah, putting trees down when there's a massive coaster behind is quite hard. But yeah, obviously you need trees to make it look cool. That was quite a cool thing I made with the different sort of like sandstone sort of pieces. I made like a snake swimming in the ground, which looked quite cool. Or like a cobra, I guess it is, not just a snake. But there's little bits of rubble that's also quite cool to put down. Just added like sort of extra theming details sort of to it. And then yeah, I thought we'll split some of the queue line up because why not? I don't know why. It just sort of looks quite cool, I guess, to make it sort of look like you're actually progressing through this queue instead of just going around. But yeah, just sort of adding loads of random little details, scaffolding sort of bits on it. So I end up going with a theme of sort of like restoring these ancient statues sort of thing. In a minute, I put down animatronics of people like miners and people with shovels, stuff like that, like archaeologists sort of people. So this whole sort of theme ends up being like an archaeology sort of expedition sort of thing. But there you go, some animatronics for like digging up the ground and mining away and stuff like that. So yeah, it's quite a cool idea, sort of to the theme of the ride, and we can maybe come up with some kind of story for it, maybe with the actual spinning nature of the ride and the archaeologist stuff. Maybe come up with some idea for that. But if you've got a name for the coaster and that flat ride there, leave it in the comments below if you've got anything at all. And we also make a few other rides on the other side, which will be coming up later on in the video. So yeah, get ready, get your names for that as well when you see what I've built there. So now it's a lot of flowers and plants around the rides. I wanted to make it so when you're in the queue you don't see behind those sort of hedges, because I'm not sure what's going to go there, and whatever does go there might not fit with the Aztec theme. It might be towards the sort of studio feel I think we're going to go with the Crystal Dome, because obviously the Crystal Dome is sort of got no theme at all, but it is a TV set. You know, the show is a TV show, so it's going to have a set. So I thought maybe we could have like the cameras around, loads of sort of like the movie sort of stuff that the Studios pack has. So yeah, that's what we end up going with in the future. So yeah, I originally had the idea for a Gerstlauer Skyforce, but that didn't fit. Met that a bit later. So instead I went with a family. We started making a family coaster in this area, which is one of the swinging mine cars rides, which is quite cool. Similar to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in the Disney parks. I'm not sure how many parks have that ride. I know Disney World do, I think. I think that's the only one. Oh no, maybe California. I don't know. I mean, I think there's one or two that have them. I'm not a huge Disney fan, so I have no idea really. Yeah, I wanted to come up with quite a weird layout for this, because obviously how this ride works is the actual cars swing individually with the track. So I thought maybe we got some sharp corners, kind of like a wild mouse. I tried outwards banking there, which didn't actually do much, so I ended up getting rid of that later on. But yeah, sort of see, as you can sort of see that bit, it goes up and then sort of instantly sort of turns a corner, kind of like a wild mouse, but instead of hitting the sides, you'll swing to the left, which is quite cool. And I thought that would give quite a unique sort of ride experience. Remember, the whole sort of idea of these rides are going to be sort of based off like the games in Crystal Maze, where you'd go through the door and then you'd get like a challenge. I mean, there's not much of a challenge. I guess the challenge would be to go on the rides, because it's a ride, not a game. But yeah, so we're going to have stuff later on, like I'm going to put doors all over them maybe, or like open doors and have like time limits and stuff like that. Could put a picture of Richard Iowadi around every now and again, you know, like the what's it called, the Maze Master, that's what he's called, isn't he? So yeah, this bit's quite a cool bit. We made it sort of be able to follow the earlier bit of track to go around the corner here. This sort of looks quite cool. I think we're going to have some quite a cool sort of theming time sort of part with that bit. You could put a, like wood down and make it sort of like these training tracks are coming out of these mines and stuff like that. It is going to be sort of like a temple mine maybe thing. We could build a load of temples and you go through them or something, or we could just stick with a generic mine theme really. But yeah, the hard bit now is fitting in a brake run in this mess of track. So obviously it's a 2 lift hill ride, which means there's going to be a lot of track in the area, and as you can see there is. And I just come up with a layout, as you can see, like that, but it doesn't actually make it. It gets stuck on the bit above the station, which is kind of annoying, as you might be able to see it in a minute. But unfortunately, we'll be leaving that for the next episode. So yeah, join me in the next episode. We'll be continuing this mine train and finishing off this Aztec area. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you're new. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified every time I upload. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!